I set 9 meetings in about 2 hours of work last week, and in this episode, I wanted to unpack what I did and how you might be able to scale this across either your sales pipeline or if you're a sales leader across your org or team. Before we get to that, my name is Jason Bay. Thanks for checking out Outbound Squad. This is all about helping you turn complete strangers into paying customers. So if you're a sales leader or an enablement leader, and your AEs, you're wanting to do more self-sourcing. Maybe you're looking to pivot the organization to do more outbound and rely less on inbound and marketing. Maybe you're moving up market. Any of those types of things where you're trying to start conversations with strangers or get more conversations within existing accounts to drum up some new business, you're definitely in the right place. So I've had this, I don't know if you call it an idea, but for the last 5 years, I mean, I've trained over 4,000 reps by this point across dozens of teams, and right now to be totally transparent with you, watching and listening this, we're scaling our business up because I want to grow Outbound Squad into more than just the Jason Bay show. I don't want to be doing all the delivery, all the sales, all the marketing, etc. We want to build a team and be able to help deliver training to more teams, help more reps, more sales leaders, etc. And a big part of what I've been focusing on right now is, how do we have a sales pipeline that will support multiple trainers? So I've never really had to get super aggressive because the inbound has been really good and I've been really good at targeted outbound. There's all of these different pockets and channels around how I engage previous champions and deals that I was never really that systemized about. So for example, if a VP of sales was at one company and they hired me and they moved to another company, if I saw it on LinkedIn, I'd reach out to them, but wasn't systematically nurturing that relationship, looking for opportunities where maybe reps get promoted into a managerial role or first time promoted VPs of sales. You kind of get the idea, right? If you're in sales, you know that these people, especially according to user gems, executives will spend 70% of their budget in their first 100 days on the job. So nurturing those relationships with previous stakeholders and deals, and if you're a rep listening to this pays huge dividends 2, 3 years into your career when you've built up this digital Rolodex, so to speak, of people that you've done business with that are moving companies. So you'll really start to see some benefit to that. So I want to unpack that strategy a bit and get tactical on how you can execute this across your sales org or as a rep. So I think step number one is keeping a list of every stakeholder in your deals. This is very easy to do, but requires a lot of discipline, just like exercising. So what I did is I created two lists in Sales Navigator. So LinkedIn Sales Navigator, I had a list of champions and important stakeholders and deals that have worked. So that was a list of about 100, 120, I think it was. So this was like every VP of sales or CRO that I interacted with, the enablement leader, anyone that was in charge of the buying process. And I mostly chose closed won deals for this. I've started actually going through closed loss deals where, the outcome was not that they hired a competitor, it was no decision. So they decided not to do anything, but I had a really strong champion. And for whatever reason, we couldn't get the deal across the finish line. Those are really good people as well. And then I also had another list of every manager or rep that was in those trainings. So for you, this is going to be how do I systematically get every rep to create a list of their champions across all of their deals? And if you're a rep, you should be storing this like across all the different companies that you work with too, so that you have that data. Two, for me, the reps and the managers are like the users for you selling a software product. So think about like who are all of the people that you guys ended up signing up for the solution? Can you get a list of those people from your CS team? Who are all the people that signed up? And then you get a separate list going because you never know, like in a year or two, those people could get promoted into leadership positions. Something that happens to me quite often is a sales manager becomes a VP of sales at a smaller startup. So all of those things become people that you can engage. So step number two is monitor the list every week and month. This is super easy to do if you set it up in Sales Nav. And if you have, like Zoom Info or Outreach or whatever sales loft or sales engagement platform that you're using, there's really good workflow typically to get from Sales Navigator into a sales engagement tool to kind of track how you're doing this. So when I did this, I realized that there was 100, 120 people. Of those 120 people, I was like, hey, these 30, 40, I felt really, really good about, had really good previous relationships with. And when I went to monitor for job changes, promotions, content they were posting, just company triggers, stuff going on at their company, I found like 20, 30 people that had like really good, interesting things going on. And then I started to reach out to them. So that's step number three is nurture the relationship. I went for the lowest hanging fruit first. I'm a really firm believer that you should be texting, and a champion is not a true champion unless you can text them. So what I started to do is text everyone that I had a texting relationship with and said something along the lines of, hey, so and so, it's been a while since we talked. I'm starting to create a lot of new content now for sales leaders. So one, would like to get your thoughts on that and share some things if I could. And then two, just wanted to catch up and see if there's anything that we might be able to chat about, things that we can help each other with, intros that we might be able to make, etc. Every single person I reached out to wanted that meeting. So the third part, I think what's really important in nurturing the relationships is with this list, what you should make a focus of doing is a couple times a quarter sending over a helpful piece of content to this person. Another super high value thing that you can do that honestly I'm not doing enough of right now, this is what I'm going to start doing from this activity, is making introductions to peers. Your champions, you should be introducing them to each other. That's a really, really great strategy. It's super high value, especially if they're in non-competing businesses. And then liking and commenting on their posts if they have them. Step number four is making the ask. So I think that when appropriate, make the ask, like I did there. Ask for a meeting to catch up, share insights, ask for an introduction if you see a mutual connection or someone that you want to get connected to. Try to get into a rhythm where you've given, 1.5 to 2 times more to a relationship than what you're asking for. And then the asks are so easy. People are so willing to reciprocate when you've put work into the relationship. So that's the strategy. So one, keep a list of every stakeholder in your deals. LinkedIn Sales Nav is my preferred choice. Monitor that list on a weekly or monthly basis for job changes, promotions, et cetera, excuse me. Nurture those relationships and then make the ask when appropriate. So that's all I got for you today. Make sure to connect with me on LinkedIn, Jason Bay, Outbound Squad. Either one of those I should pop up. I post daily content like this onto LinkedIn. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure to subscribe, leave an honest rating, all of that kind of stuff. That's all I got for you today. I'll see you next episode.